Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm Mark Bergen. On Netflix, The Waterfront premiered on June the 19th, and the show has several ties to the state of North Carolina. On the show, you can see several landmarks from Southport and the city of Wilmington. The show follows the Buckley family, who have dominated the town's fishing industry and restaurant scene. However, the family falls on hard financial times and has to revert to drug smuggling. I sat down with WRAL's Justin Arner to talk about the show's ties to North Carolina and how it's become one of the hit shows on Netflix. Here with WRAL's Justin Arner, Mark Bergen. And Justin, I'm pretty excited today because we get to talk about The Waterfront on Netflix. And we've been talking a lot about this show, but I wanted to save everything for this conversation, given the show's ties to North Carolina.
Yeah, you've been coming in my edit bay saying, oh, I just finished episode 4, and I'm like, oh, I'm on 2, and we got a lot to talk about, but we've been saving it all for this podcast.
All right, so let's dive right in. What was your big takeaway from season 1? It is 8 episodes on Netflix.
Yeah, I like the length of it. It seemed digestible. It didn't seem like overwhelming. A lot of series are like 13, 15 episodes, and it's like, oh man, it's pushing it. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot. I got a lot of Yellowstone vibes, really troubled family business, shady doings, like the production value of it. Yeah, it took me along for the ride. I enjoyed it.
I was also entertained. Before we get into spoilers, I thought it sets up very favorably for a second season if Netflix approves that. Mm-hmm. And I think it helps fill the void. You say Yellowstone. I think it fills the void given that Ozark is no longer. Ozark played for 4 seasons. They're not going to have a 5th season of Ozark. So I think it kind of helps fill that void. But this is a very, very violent show, Justin.
Extremely. Shockingly so. I was like, oh my gosh. It's a couple of scenes.
All right, so at this point, if you're listening or watching to the WRAL Daily Download, we're getting into spoilers of The Waterfront Season 1, so we're going to dive right in. My big takeaway was this. All of the main characters, for the most part, are still intact going into Season 2. So the entire Buckley family, you've got Harlon, you've got Kane, you've got the mom, the sister, Sean, the long-lost son of Harlon. They're all still there. So for me, I'm like, what are we waiting on Netflix? Season 2, I think that's what's in play given how Season 1 ended.
Yeah, it left some storylines open. It kind of changed the power dynamic. At the end, we could see, I mean, I'm already going to spoil the end, but, you know, the power shift maybe to more of Belle, you know, the mom, the matriarch of the family. Yeah, they got a lot of room to work with.
We will get well into that with how the season ended.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my big takeaway. I wanted to get into some of the North Carolina ties as well. So this show created by Kevin Williamson. He's from New Bern. Kevin Williamson, the person responsible for launching the Scream franchise. Also know him from the WB teen drama series Dawson's Creek and also the Vampire Diaries as well. And so he's the show creator behind this. There are so many places that I recognized in Wilmington. Full disclosure, I've not been to Southport, but the show is set in the fictional town of Havenport, coastal North Carolina. But as I'm watching the show, I'm like, oh, I've been there in Wilmington before. So there were several of those, which we'll get into here. And I'd say the biggest one that I recognized almost immediately was episode 6, where Grady's picking up Diller out on the street, and they're on Water Street right next to the Cape Fear River, right in the heart of downtown Wilmington. That was one where I'm like, I had been there. I've been there several times in my life before, but it just goes to show you all the connections of where this was filmed here in the state of North Carolina, but, you know, places that really aren't all that far from us here in Raleigh.
Yeah, it just gave off the vibe. Even though, like, even the restaurant, the family restaurant, as soon as they showed the inside of it, I was like, I feel like I have been at that restaurant. And then the downtown area, I think the love interest of Kane, Jenna, she had a little hardware store. And that was just like downtown Wilmington, I think. But it had that whole vibe of coastal North Carolina. I think it conveyed that pretty well.
Yeah, so the family restaurant is the Fishy Fishy Cafe in Southport,
Okay.
the exterior of that. And then Jenna's family store, that is right on Market Street, right in downtown Wilmington.
Okay.
And so along with this video podcast, along with this audio podcast, we're going to have a lot of the locations of the show and where specifically they are in real life. So check that out. That'll be on WRAL.com, the WRAL News app as well, with this story of a lot of, oh, hey, this looks familiar. Is this somewhere where, you've been, where you've recognized it? It's pretty cool, though. Let's go here. Did you buy Topher Grace's portrayal as Grady as the villain of the show?
He definitely changed the dynamic of the show. As soon as he came on the scene, and I mean, his very first line when Harlon goes to shake his hand and he goes, no, I'm a hugger. And you're just like, oh, okay, he's bringing it. And he never lost that manic, psychopathic, just energy veiled in the nicest guy, your next door neighbor or your coworker who's just always upbeat all the time and can't get him down. Except this guy's got a minigun that, he uses when somebody crosses him.
The word I would use is narcissist as well. Very, very narcissistic. And it was funny how he related to Harlon Buckley, the father figure, because his lack of a father figure in his own life. So initially it was like, oh, are we sure this is a villain? Like, this is almost a comedic approach to being a villain in the television show.
Yeah.
But I bought it. I thought he brought something just totally different to the role than any of the other characters we had met to that point.
Well, compared to the villain who had been up to that point, which was the sheriff, I think his name is Sheriff Porter, who's pretty much what you'd expect, dour businessman, drug dealer / sheriff. But compared to him, I mean, Topher Grace is just singular in this show in what he's bringing to it.
Yeah, it's Sheriff Clyde Porter or Owen. That didn't make any sense to me at all. But
I still don't know.
Topher Grace's presence after all of that, I think, was a welcome addition to the show.
I agree with you.
The part where I'm a hugger was just so funny. And his dynamic with the father, Harlon Buckley, to me was some of the best duos that you saw throughout the 8 episodes of the very first season. Harlon Buckley, portrayed by Holt McCallany, survives 2 heart attacks and then undergoes more fights and gun battles than anyone should after having undergone 2 heart attacks.
Maybe 17 jellyfish poured on his chest.
If we were doing this podcast right, ladies and gentlemen, too, you and I would be drinking some Johnny Walker Black on the rocks as well, because that is Harlon Buckley's drink of choice. He's like a cross between John Wayne and the Marlboro Man, if you had to mix the two.
100%.
It's the total alpha of the show. He was by far my favorite character in season 1 of the show. I thought he stole every scene he was in.
Yep, I agree with you. Whenever he was on the screen, it was just like, okay, he's taking charge. Even when he was kind of punked on a couple times, he still was in control, if that makes sense. Like, you knew that he was going to handle it somehow. He was the best. He was the best Buckley.
Yeah, Holt McCallany, also in Fight Club as well. If I'd have known that going into all of this before I even watched a single episode, I'd have been like, all right, I'm following him into battle of all of the different scenarios that the Buckleys go through. So the Buckleys, they operate a restaurant and a fishing business. It goes belly up and they have to revert to drug smuggling. And so that's the basis of the show. And pretty much from there, chaos ensues. I mean, in one of the very first scenes where you see Harlon Buckley, he punches his son to the ground and says, quote, "I wouldn't bother getting up. I'm just going to hit you again." And so that's like your introduction to Harlon Buckley on the waterfront.
I mean, he means business, right? I mean, well, the very first introduction is he's having a heart attack and he says, "Call my wife." "No, wait, call an ambulance, then call my wife." And it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, he's great and everything.
The Buckleys are a very, very flawed family. So we're doing this rewatchable style. We've got some categories here, Justin. And this is the part of the show where you wanted to go the sins of Diller. Diller, who is the son of Bri Buckley, And Diller's got the last name of his dad. I believe it's Diller Hopkins.
Okay.
But the grandson of Harlan and of Belle, he was my least favorite character. I think he was supposed to be portrayed that way. But man, Diller was so annoying in this show. I could not stand this character, but I think that was the character's purpose as well.
I guess. He definitely served that purpose well. I think he won the most punchable award. Like, the kid needed a slap in the face. Right off the bat, I kept thinking, wait, is his name Dylan? What are they saying?
Oh, so you don't watch with
Diller?
subtitles?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And then I was like, I think it's Diller. What? Okay, so right off the bat, strike one. Okay.
I don't know anyone named Diller. Full disclosure.
It sounds made up. I mean, it's completely made up, but in a dumb way. So right off the bat, this kid is so sarcastic and disrespectful to his mother, Bri, that it just made me cringe. So he gets a job at the family fishery, despite not being allowed to be near his mom because of a court order. So he's going to get her in trouble doing that, okay? That's strike two. He leads Grady and his henchmen directly into the fishery and gives them a whole tour of the whole business. That's bad.
Yep.
He gets kidnapped by Grady to go hunting and gets shot.
You don't think there was a cordial invite, Justin?
Oh, man. Come on, Diller. You got to do better. Okay, just real briefly.
With someone he had met a grand total one time? Yeah.
One time. Let's go. Get in my truck. Come on. And he goes, okay, that was bad enough. But then the very last episode, he stows onto a yacht, stows away. He hides for 2 hours while his mom is being kidnapped, and then completely ruins his mom's plan when she finally gets a hold of a gun. And then his mom gets shot. The one good thing Diller ever did was throw his mom a lifeboat while she's bleeding out in the water. So then he was a hostage for Grady for the rest of that episode. Just Diller, man.
Let me circle back to our guy Harlan, though. How cool a grandpa has to be to where it's like, I'm going to defy a court order.
Yes.
Because I want to hang out and work with my grandfather at the family business.
That's a good point. That's a great point.
I don't know if I've ever met a grandpa that cool in my time living and breathing on the planet Earth.
No way. So yeah, it was worth it. I guess it was worth it.
Let me ask you a question about Diller. Is this season better if when Diller was shot, if he dies?
I mean, that would be pretty nuts, but I'm sorry, Diller, but you gotta go. You gotta go, man.
I'm with you, but if this sets up for season 2, I think the custody battle with Bri and her ex-husband is a storyline that will continue to play out. What type of custody Bri will continue to have. I thought she was outstanding in this series.
She was.
And she essentially drugs the DEA agent, and the DEA agent who she has a romantic relationship with ends up dying as a result of, his investigation that was going to take down the Buckley family as well. So that dynamic, and so Diller, his relationship with his mom is something I think that if there is a season 2 of this show, I think that's a storyline they'll come back to that story.
For sure. Yeah.
All
right. Thank you for letting me go into the sins of Diller.
Yeah, of course. Let me ask you this as well. Kane Buckley, so Kane, the son of Harlan, quarterback, has a scholarship to Florida.
Yeah.
Doesn't
going pro.
And they're saying, he's going to go pro. What type of quarterback do you think Kane Buckley was?
I agree with your note here. He probably was more of a pocket passer. Maybe like a Bledsoe. Maybe like
old school.
Old school. You know what I mean? Like staying tough, throwing from the pocket, not real quick. Maybe Dan Marino style as well. Old school. Yeah, I'm pro, man.
I'm with you. Pocket passer, not like your new school quarterback who can run as well. Like
no.
Pure pocket passer.
I've seen Kane running, and he can't run.
Yeah, I think he's like a 3-star quarterback by some services. Maybe a few others. He's like a lower 4-star to where it's like, there's some excitement, intrigue to where like in a big game, you could trust him, but like he's not the best of the best, but he can compete with the best of the best.
Yeah. I can see that.
I asked this question because it's just like I think about other people who've been quarterbacks in other shows and movies. The first I thought of was Johnny Utah and Point Break with Keanu Reeves, but That was just one thing I thought about, but perhaps the most entertaining scene of the entire series was when they essentially blow up Grady's drug operation. And Kane in that series has to tackle one of the gunmen.
Yeah.
And he lays the dude
He does.
out. And
He
it's
does.
just like, okay, I can see the football background.
Yes. That was good. Although I got issues with their infiltration. I can't believe there was no guards. There was no nothing. They just waltzed in.
You can say the same thing about the Buckley's family fishery, though. We'll get to that.
That's
we'll
true.
get to that some unanswerable questions.
Yeah.
It's something that I had in my notes.
Yeah.
For me, the most rewatchable scene of this 8-episode series was the scene where they blow up Grady's drug operation. I just think the visual of that, they help Harlan and Sean escape, even though they're being held captive by Grady. And it sets into motion what is a very exciting finale. But they stole this from HBO. I can't tell you how many HBO shows do this, where it's not the finale that's the most exciting episode. It's the episode before the finale. Mm-hmm. And I thought that this was the case in season 1 of The Waterfront.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was a good scene. For me, the most rewatchable scene was the intro to the show where the boat is washed up on the shore. That was a pretty good shot. It didn't look CG, although I'm sure it was. And then you got these brief little snippets of every character, and you know what this family's about just from that. It was pretty good writing.
Have you ever seen a boat wash ashore in real life like that before?
Not that intact, but yeah, it would be really beaten up.
During my reporting days down in Florida, we had a sailboat wash ashore, and it is a striking visual if you've ever seen that, because I'm not a boater by any stretch of the means, but it's just that visual where it's like, this is not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's a good call in terms of the shot. I also liked when Kane finally shoots Grady right in the head, dome shot. Yeah. I got a little bit of Titanic vibes in terms of where he was at in the positioning of the boat, where he gets shot in the head at the very, very front of the boat, and falls off into the water.
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty compelling visual as well. And, Harlan being so proud of his son in that moment.
I mean, that was the character arc for Kane. He was afraid at first. He didn't even want to hold a gun. He didn't want to beat up the people who terrorized his wife. He kept saying, no, this is wrong. And then by the end of it, I mean, he completely loses any morals that he had.
Did you have a best line from the show at all? None of the dialogue really stuck out, because I would want to see season 2 if some of the slogans, some of the things that they say kind of come back into full circle. I didn't have anything for this category.
Well, I had Topher Grace saying, I'm a hugger. Because that was so out of the blue, just for me. And then when Belle said to her husband, Harlan, if you touch that Johnny Walker, I'll cut your hand off.
Yeah.
And alcohol is a big theme of this show.
Yeah.
There's so many shots of alcohol.
The BACs of both Harlan and of Kane.
Oh, my God.
It's got to be like 50% of their blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good calls there. Let's take a quick break. The Heat Check Overacting Award, Sheriff Clyde Porter, he's bringing it, man.
Oh,
he's bringing it as Owen to where he wants supremacy, where it's like, look, the Buckleys are one of many families. We get introduced to the Parkers later on in the season.
Yep.
But in terms of how he thought the hierarchy worked with everything, it's just like, dude, you're a cog in this whole wheel.
Yeah.
But I thought he really dialed it up in the scenes that he was in. And then when he shoots and kills Hoyt Piper in the very first episode, it was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming.
Neither did I. Neither did I.
It was good. I have Sheriff Porter in another category, actually our very next one. But my pick for the Dion Waiters Award Best Heat Check was Taekwondo Sean. He comes out with a roundhouse kick to one of the goons, and it's like, what? Sean's got karate chop action.
Some good fighting, Justin. Some good fighting.
What? Yeah. So he never breaks it out again.
You're wanting more.
I want more.
Listen. That's Showbiz 101. Leave them wanting more. And some good fighting as well. Yeah.
I think he had a guy in a headlock on the boat, but that roundhouse kick, I was like, whoa, Sean is coming in hot.
We'll come back to Sean. We'll come back to Sean because I have some thoughts.
Okay. Okay.
Casting what ifs. I saw that there were 2 for Harlan Buckley. So Harlan, who again is portrayed with Holt McCallany, was quoted in an interview saying that Russell Crowe and Josh Brolin were considered for the role of Harlan.
Really?
And that he was a long shot to play the role. Apparently, Holt had a job lined up for another show on Amazon, which he turned down, even though he didn't know for sure he would get this role in the Waterfront. But
Wow.
I think both would be really strong as Harlan. I'm glad they
Sure.
did what they did and they chose who they did for the role. But I could see both Josh Brolin and Russell Crowe as Harlan.
man.
I could easily see them.
Easily.
Yeah.
They would kill it. I didn't know. And if that's true, I was just putting down some like made up ones.
Okay.
Obviously Kevin Costner, but that's too obvious. But I thought like an old grizzled Harrison Ford too could have played that. He might be a little too old.
Yeah.
But
If we
maybe
could run it
5
back
years ago?
10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Weak link of the show. This is where I've got Sean. I wanted more from Rafael Silva, but again, I go back to if there's a season 2 of this show, I think there's going to be more to his storyline, more to his character arc.
Yeah.
And again, that scene where he protects the mom, Belle Buckley, was just like, I'm like, where has this been the entire time?
I know.
And
I know.
if we would have seen that before we figured out that he was Harlan's son.
Yeah.
Harlan has an affair with a woman who worked at the family restaurant years ago. So Sean comes in from Texas, and at first they think that he's an agent or a law enforcement officer.
Right. We don't know as an audience either.
But I want to know more about him, but like I just didn't get enough from his character. But again, if you get into it, more seasons of the show, I think that will happen over time.
It's almost like a Godfather situation where it's like Michael Corleone. He didn't want to be part of the family, but he got roped into it. So now I think Sean might be still in that role a little bit, like they're roping him in. Bring some more Taekwondo, Sean. Let's see what you got.
Did you have another weak link? Because I've got another one on.
Oh, Diller, 100%. He's the weakest.
Well,
He's the weakest.
That's almost too obvious.
That's
the sins of Diller.
the sins of Diller.
Yeah,
never ending.
With you there. The whole Jenna Kane relationship,
weak, man.
I just didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. He would have these interactions with his wife and say that he wanted to fix things, but then the very next scene, it would cut to him hanging outside Jenna's window or hanging outside her house, hanging outside her store. And it's like, come on, let's wrap this up. We know where this is headed.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. Let's go to unanswerable questions.
Mm-hmm.
If the Buckleys are in such financial ruin, why do they live in the homes that they do? Waterfront homes, like, wouldn't you at least consider selling?
Well, not only that, they got this land that we never find out what the significance of this land is, right?
If it's close to the water, though, I know, having lived in beach communities, the proximity to water is the name of the game. And so I understand that, but how bad in debt they were, I think they could have got, like, I get that this is a drama show and you don't want to crunch the numbers too much. I understand all of that. But that was one thing where I'm just like...
They got multi-million-dollar homes. They have this land that he refuses to sell for some reason. And are you telling me they'd rather sell drugs and do illegal and kill people than just downsize their house or sell this land that's so important?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Did you have any other unanswerable questions? That was the biggest one.
Where are all the goons coming from? The henchmen. They get these huge guys, Topher Grace. They're all living on this farm, and they're just chilling. And the only thing that I could see that they did for recreation was throw knives.
I'm going to get into picking bits here because I've got one about the henchmen.
Okay.
So, two of the henchmen's names. Tim Donnelly. Hey, shout out 99.9 The Fan. Hello, Tim. We love you. Family member of the CBC. Mm-hmm. Someone who works in North Carolina, like showrunners, like maybe do a Google search before you name. Reggie Miller is the name of the other henchman.
Yes.
NBA Hall of Famer, Pacers legend. So we got Tim Donnelly and Reggie Miller as the two henchmen. The show's got to do better here, man. Do a quick Google search of is this someone famous who has the same exact name? This was my biggest gripe with season 1. If that's my biggest gripe, like I said, I enjoyed the show.
We're doing good.
Show. So that was in my picking nits category. I didn't have anyone for Apex Mountain. I think, again, you're setting up for a season 2.
Yeah.
We'll get into this more. But that was one of the big picking nits I had. I'm also going to go here. I'll go back to, you mentioned how Grady's operation didn't have any security. The same thing with the Buckleys, where the Parker family shows up, which is another family that's involved in this criminal empire.
But they let them in, right?
Okay. But when Grady's people just show up to the Buckleys, there's not cameras, there's not...
But it's a legitimate business. That's the difference. It's made to look like it's a legitimate business. So you're not going to have guards or anything, like, obviously.
I don't need any guards, but a security camera to say, hey, someone's here after hours that shouldn't be here at this hour.
They did
not have an alarm.
Yeah, and they managed to hide 2 dead bodies in Harlan's office, right?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
So that goes to your point. Yes. No security whatsoever.
So that was another picking nit that I had. And I think you could say the same about Grady's drug operation, which is just that, in the middle of a farm.
It's so obvious.
Yeah.
It's a huge farm with nothing but huge henchmen in camo patrolling the grounds, and no one questions it.
Harlon Buckley's heart problems, and then for the amount of fights he gets into, I mean, he kills the sheriff for how much he drinks.
Yep, the jellyfish.
Yes.
No ill effects on his heart after 25 jellyfish are poured on his chest.
Like I said, John Wayne and the Marlboro Man mixed.
Yeah. That's when Harlan really came alive for me. It took a long time, but after that jellyfish, it was like, oh, wow, this guy is tough as they come. And then he starts taking pot shots at Grady's man from his porch in the dunes. That was cool.
That, and I think that those traits of being very tough passed down to Kane, his son, as a quarterback as well.
No.
I don't need a flashback scene of Kane playing quarterback. I don't need that. But, like, I like to imagine.
Yeah,
kind of. Did you have any picking nits before we go to the next category?
No, I think you covered it. Well, okay, one really quick.
Yeah.
Why would they let a DEA agent who had just recently been on heroin, what's his deal? Why would they give him a case like this after he's been sober for not that long?
Yeah.
It seemed like. And he still has an issue with heroin?
Yeah.
It's,
That's DEA agent Marcus Sanchez, Gerardo Salasaco, the actor there.
Yeah.
But, I hear that. Scene stealing location, I'm going to go Kane Buckley's rooftop. So after the DEA agent dies and he's got his sister back at his house and she's trying to explain the trauma that she's felt that goes back to her childhood. They go up to the rooftop overlooking the water. I just think it's a beautiful view.
Yeah.
The beautiful view.
I also had Kane Buckley's house. Like the inside of it.
Dulce.
It's Peyton has an eye for decoration. It looked awesome. Modern, clean lines. Love it.
All right. Storylines you're most excited for if there's a season 2.
Let's see. Well, it's got to be the power struggle, right? And who's going to be in charge now of the family? Belle or Harlan?
I think the very last frame that you see in season 1 is of Belle, and they're torturing the real estate developer where they talk about, okay, help get out the Buckleys out of their financial ruin, and she has an affair with the developer as well.
She's just watching heartlessly.
Yeah. And long story short, the deal falls through, but then the developer is going to acquire the land regardless.
Yeah.
But the Parkers still want the real estate developer, Wes Larson, alive. I think that's very telling. And if there is a season 2, I think we would find out why.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It'll be more of that, the drugs. I guess who's now in charge? It's a power vacuum, right? With Grady gone, who takes charge of that? We don't know.
Yeah. But I think the Parkers are like, if there's tiers and levels to this, they're at another level than the Buckleys are. Yes. The Buckleys are here. I think the Parkers are just on another tier and on another level.
Yep.
And then Harlan's father, Bo Buckley, is killed by one of the Parker family members as well. So I think we would find out more about the history between the two families and why there's bad blood between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be good. I think that would be good if they can continue.
Yeah. So I think that's a big one. I've got who would take over the empire. Again, Belle's affair with Wes Larson. And then some follow-ups of like a few things, like fallout from Grady getting shot and killed, the DEA agent who overdoses and dies, Hoyt Piper, who was the first character to die. Is there any follow-up from that? The first two people to die in the show, which we don't see them on the screen, but Curtis and Troy, henchmen of the Buckleys.
Yeah.
Does anything resurface with any of that? So, like, those are things.
Some stuff to work with.
Show title. Would this be better if this were renamed the Buckleys? I don't know if there would be any other.
I think it absolutely could have a different name, because I got to be honest, when you do a search for the Waterfront, the first thing that comes up is On the Waterfront. One of the most famous movies of the 20th century, Marlon Brando. So I had to really scroll through some stuff, and there is a lot written about this show, but you have to get through all that first. So maybe Havenport?
Yeah.
The Buckleys? Yeah.
I think Havenport would come out because it's a fictional town name.
Right.
It's a fictional town name.
Right. But yeah, I think they maybe could have found a better name.
Well, I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that. Who won season 1 to you?
Definitely Harlon Buckley.
Yeah, I think that's unanimous there.
He's the man.
I put Netflix a huge winner of this too, because again, filled in the void with Ozark, and I just think this sets up so favorably for a season 2. And as soon as this was done, I was like, oh man, 8 episodes. It's like, I'm wanting more. Yeah. I'm wanting more. And I thought 8 episodes was perfect. I need more than that. I think you're stretching out storyline that doesn't need to be stretched out. But another 8 episode season, sign me up. I'd be ready to go tomorrow.
For sure.
Be ready to go tomorrow. Any final thoughts here before we sign off here, Justin?
I got the best needle drop was when Topher Grace starts belting out Brandy, "You're a fine girl," on the yacht. Had to include that. Also, in about the span of 4 minutes, I just keep talking about Topher Grace. In the span of 4 minutes, he calls Kane Buckley a model, sexy, stud muffin, cheekbones, gorgeous, cutie pie, and cupcake. That's 4 minutes.
That is a great place to wrap. He is the one and only Justin Arner. I am Mark Bergen. This has been another edition of the WRAL Daily Download. If you enjoyed listening, hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple, Spotify. Justin, thanks so much, man. This was fun.
Thanks, man.
Thank you to Justin Arner. If you've listened to this podcast on WRAL.com or on the WRAL News app, you can find it in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Follow the show so you don't miss an episode. I'm Mark Bergen. Thank you for listening.